help me reach 2,000 subscribers. It was 11:45 p.m. when my phone buzzed. A short text lit up the screen. Just 5 more minutes. At first, I smiled. That was Julia's usual line whenever she was running late. From work, from dinner with friends, or lately, from those endless networking events. But something about it that night felt off. Maybe it was how the words looked on the screen. Or maybe it was because she'd promised she'd be home by 10. I typed back, "Okay, drive safe." No response. By midnight, I was still sitting in the living room, the TV droning in the background while my untouched dinner went cold. The quiet was heavy, my thoughts louder than the static. I've never been the suspicious type. I trusted Julia. Always had. But lately, small things had started to add up. The late-night showers, the sudden change in passwords, the unfamiliar perfume clinging to her car. And then there was last week, when she came home smiling for no reason, cheeks flushed like she'd just heard a secret joke. When I asked what was funny, she said lightly, "Oh, just work stuff." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But that night, when 5 minutes became an hour, and an hour slipped into 2, my face started to feel more like denial. At 10:02 the next morning, my phone buzzed again, a notification from our shared location app, the one we downloaded years ago, back when trust wasn't something we had to think about. She wasn't at work. She wasn't even near the route home. The blinking that hovered in a quiet neighborhood across town, one I didn't recognize at first. But curiosity has a way of killing reason. I grabbed my keys, my heart pounding with that uneasy rhythm between fear and hope. Maybe she'd had car trouble. Maybe she was visiting a friend. Maybe, that word, maybe, became the lie I clung to. 20 minutes later, I pulled into the neighborhood and recognized the street name. It belonged to someone she used to work with. Her car was parked right in front of his house. And suddenly, 5 more minutes made sense. I sat there gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went pale. The lights inside were dim, except for one upstairs window glowing softly. Warm, yellow, intimate. I didn't need to see more. My gut had known the truth long, before my heart admitted it. For a moment, I thought about leaving, pretending I hadn't seen it, pretending it was all some mistake. But that quiet, wounded part of me, the one that had endured her distance, her excuses, her cold goodnights, had finally had enough. I stepped out of the car and walked toward the door, each step heavier than the last. I wasn't angry. Not yet. Just tired. Tired of lies. Tired of waiting for someone who'd already left me long before she packed her bags. I didn't knock. Instead, I called her. Through the upstairs window. I saw her phone light up. She didn't answer. So I texted, "You still need 5 more minutes?" No reply. Then I noticed a second shadow pass behind the curtain. Taller, broader. My stomach twisted. The realization hit me hard, sharp, undeniable. She wasn't alone. I stood there for what felt like forever, staring up at the window that used to symbolize everything I believed about love. And then I did something I never thought I would. I pulled out my phone, found her co-worker's wife's number, Claire. We'd met once years ago at a company event. She'd been kind, unsuspecting. When she answered, her voice was soft, half asleep. "Hello." I swallowed hard. "Claire, I think you should know where your husband is." Silence. Then a quick, shaky inhale. "What do you mean?" I turned my camera toward the glowing window. "Look at the location I'm sending you." Seconds later, her breathing hitched. That's our address," she whispered. "Yeah," I said quietly. "And your husband isn't alone." I hung up before she could answer. The truth didn't need confrontation anymore. It was already burning everything down between us. By the time I got home, dawn was starting to break. The first gray light crept through the windows, turning everything colder than it really was. I sat there, motionless, replaying everything, her laughter, her touch, her promises, and that last message. Just 5 more minutes. It wasn't the words that broke me. It was how easily she'd written them, as if asking for a few extra minutes to finish a drink, not to destroy a marriage. An hour later, my phone buzzed again. Her name lit up the screen. I didn't answer. Then came a text. I can explain. Explain what? That the meetings were lies? That her need for space was just a cover for someone else's arms? That the man she'd vowed to love was home alone, convincing himself she still cared? No, there was nothing left to explain. When she finally walked in, the sun was up. She looked startled to see me awake, like she thought she could just slip back into a life she'd already abandoned. "Hey," she said softly, trying to smile. "You're up early." I didn't respond, just watched her drop her purse like it was any other morning. Then she saw my expression. "What's wrong?" "Claire called me," I said. Her face went pale. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. I told her where her husband was. I added quietly, "You should probably call her before she gets there." Her eyes went wide, guilt giving way to panic. She grabbed her phone, typing frantically. Her hands shook as she tried to undo what couldn't be undone. When she finally looked up, tears filled her eyes. "You ruined everything," she whispered. I almost laughed. "No," I said. "You did." She reached for me, but I stepped back. I wasn't angry anymore, just empty. The kind of emptiness that follows after storm, when there's nothing left standing. As she stood there crying, I walked past her, picked up my keys, and opened the door. She called my name, but I didn't turn back. Some endings don't come with closure. They come with silence. And that silence was louder than anything she could ever say.